All right, I'll just start off recapping everything in Baltimore, kind of go through since it's been a while since we've talked and there's a lot that happened. So special teams wise, joint practice last Tuesday in Baltimore, really felt that the guys played our good on good, played a really high standard, and we really believe won every single period in the joint practice. We left that practice feeling really happy about where everything was at. Obviously, that did not translate over into the first half of the preseason game. Then what did we not do in the joint practice? The number one area that we need to improve on from the preseason game is live tackling. Today, for the first time in a scrimmage setting, we did live tackling on special teams. We got to improve our fundamentals of our tackling. We played 54 different players in the game on special teams, so obviously a lot of players got a chance to get an opportunity. Try to give everybody as much of an opportunity as we possibly can, especially guys further back on that depth chart. And take advantage of your opportunity. As we all know, you get more opportunities, and if you don't, obviously you won't. So kind of go through a recap a little bit, just kickoff-wise. I know we've talked a little bit about kickoff, questions and stuff that might come up with it. We saw, obviously, an explosive kickoff that the Ravens ended up having in our game. You really have to find a lot of different ways to be creative on kickoff with the new model. In the new model, the kickoff team is flattened out at the 40-yard line. In the old model, you would have been running full speed, 35 to 30-yard line when the ball was caught. In the XFL model, the kickoff team was 5 yards further up than where we're at the 35-yard line. So what you're going to see, especially in joint practice, what some teams are even doing and working more scheme in preseason games than what you would normally do is you got to try to get the ball on the ground. You got to try to play keep away. You got to run twist games. You got to try to fold. You got to flow different guys to the ball to try to create different levels. If you're playing it vanilla like we were in that last preseason game, then we got to do a great job playing gapped out defense, holding our lane. We had one player that over squeezed to the right and lost leverage on the returner. Another player ended up backdooring and going to the left. So one guy goes too far to the right, one guy goes too far to the left. We can't let that happen. We've got to be able to squeeze in our lane with leverage to the returner and then shed to be able to make the play, which we felt like we did a really good job in the joint practice and have to continue to build off of that as we continue to kind of figure out what scheme and things we're going to work with as we do that. Punt-wise in the joint practice, Rigo punted the ball at an elite level. He had 6 live punts. His average distance was 55 yards. His average hang time was 4.99. We did not punt the ball well to start the game, and Rigo knows that. The first 2 punts were not good enough. The first punt was a very poor punt, put some pressure on the coverage guys. We had 2 young guys. There was a young rookie that had the opportunity to make the tackle right there to start off the game, and we ended up missing the tackle, and we've got to continue to work our coverage and tackling. They ended up getting the punt return touchdown. We have 3 players that have the returner corralled in a really good position to be able to make the play. We've got to be able to be under control and work on the fundamentals of our tackling. We have one guy that's out of control that kind of takes out another one of our guys. Another guy ends up missing the tackle. The ball gets out into space. We dive and leave our feet to miss 2 more tackles. We've got to gather. We've got to be able to wrap and squeeze, run our feet to be able to do our job and tackle. That's an inexcusable coverage errors that we had to start that game. Guys got a little bit more comfortable and settled in as the game went on. Obviously, we'll continue to give guys more opportunities as we work through preseason and joint practice to see some of those things, but we definitely have to fix tackling. That's probably our number one thing. From a kicker standpoint, Spencer Schrader, I think, overall has been doing a really good job. He's made 87% of his kicks overall throughout training camp. I think he's kicking better in training camp than he was in OTAs. I think he's kicking better in week 3 of training camp than he was in week 1. Obviously, anytime you have a new starting kicker, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but I think he's getting more comfortable. I think he handled pregame really well in Baltimore. He certainly has the leg up in this competition. Maddox is kicking 78% versus him kicking 87%. So Spencer will start to get a bulk of the load as we move forward today. He had a majority of the kicks today in practice. He will be the starting kicker and the only kicker that will kick this weekend on Saturday against the Packers.
Will Maddox get all of the Bengals game?
Maddox will certainly get an opportunity. Obviously we'll reassess after the Packers game, but Maddox will get an opportunity to be able to get some film out there and show what he can do in the last game.
So it sounds like you're evaluating. Practice is super important, obviously, but for your guys, does the game sort of outweigh practices a little bit because of the tackling element at all, or is it, I don't know?
Certainly from a tackling standpoint. Yeah, so like the joint practice, when we're good on good and we're working, a lot of different scheme and stuff that we're planning to do on regular season, that's really like the time that we're evaluating like how are guys able to handle things. From a tackling standpoint, certainly it's coming in the preseason game.
Ron, you mentioned 54 different guys on special teams. When, at what point, or do you in training camps start to whittle that down to find out who can do well for you in the regular season?
Yeah, so like the joint practice is a great time to be able to put guys in a lot of spots that we're going to do stuff for regular season to see what they can do. But every preseason game, we're going to try to play as many guys as possible to give everybody an opportunity. Certainly now it's that point of the training camp where we have a lot of injuries and guys that are banged up, and it's just going to be the next man up. And there's going to be more guys at the back end of the depth chart that, as a result, special teams wise, are going to get more reps. You know, as starters or different guys on the offense and defense are out, then those twos are going to be elevated to play more offense and defense. So we'll end up playing, you know, obviously not with those guys on special teams. So, you know, every preseason game, we're going to try to give as many guys opportunities as we can.
Tyler Goodson laid out everything he did just to get kind of in shape to take on all this role of boxing and cardio in the offseason. Just what have been your impressions of the way he's taken all those opportunities so far?
I think Tyler Goodson is having an excellent camp. I thought he did a great job in the joint practice with the Ravens. I thought he did a very good job in a limited role that we used him in the preseason game. Since he was really the starting running back and getting a lot of carries early in the game, we didn't use him until the end of the first half or a little bit in the third quarter. But I think he has really improved. I think he can do some really good things as a starter on special teams.
Spencer's already obviously having a good camp, but what do you need to clean up a little bit for him just to get to that 90 you're talking about?
Yeah, I think he's certainly improving a little bit more. He's just got to continue to get comfortable. You know, there's been you know, in the joint practice, he had a 56-yarder that he slightly pulled to the left. In the game, he had a 52-yarder that he slightly pulled to the left. So just understanding the different situations and how to play the ball so we're not pulling the ball to the left, which has been the issue that's come up here of late. But really, he'll just continue to get more comfortable. I think he'll continue to get more consistent, which he's done.